Hey there. So, let's talk about the tech that's suddenly popping up everywhere. AI language models. We're going to break down what they actually are, and more importantly, what they really mean for all of us.
I mean, have you ever wished you had a super smart assistant? And I don't just mean smart. I mean someone who's basically read the entire internet. Someone who could write for you, summarize anything, help you brainstorm, and answer pretty much any question you throw at them. Well, that's kind of the big promise behind the AI we're diving into today. So, here's the plan for this explainer. First, we'll cover what these language models even are. Then, we'll get into the big versus the small ones. We'll look at how they can be a real tool for a community, but we'll also tackle the costs and the risks. And finally, we'll wrap up by talking about what it means to use this tech with intention.
All right, first things first, what even are language models? Well, when you boil it all down, it's really about teaching computers to understand us, to speak our language. Okay, so to put it simply, a language model is a kind of AI that's been trained to get a handle on human language, to understand it, generate it, and respond to it. Think about it. It learns by just reading. A ton. We're talking books, articles, pretty much the whole internet. And while it's reading, it's not just memorizing, it's figuring out all the patterns. It's basically becoming a super sophisticated prediction machine. It's always just guessing what word is most likely to come next. And that right there, that's the secret sauce. That's what lets it talk and write in a way that can feel, well, surprisingly human.
But here's the thing. Not all of these AI brains are the same. It turns out they're not all created equal. And that brings us to the two main flavors you'll hear about, the big models and the small ones.
I love this analogy. Let's think of a large language model, an LLM, as this librarian who's literally read the entire internet. It's a total generalist, right? It can help you with almost anything, from drafting an email to writing some code. But then you have the small language model, the SLM, and that's more like a specialist librarian, the one who's an absolute expert on just one subject. Because it's trained on a really specific, focused dataset, it's usually way faster, cheaper to run, and often even more accurate for those very specific jobs, like, say, analyzing legal documents or combing through medical charts.
And you've definitely seen some of these names floating around, right? This isn't some sci-fi, far-off future stuff anymore. It's here, right now. We're talking about the big players you've heard of, OpenAI with ChatGPT, Google with Gemini, Anthropic with Claude, and Meta with Llama. These are being built by companies we all know, and they're becoming easier for all of us to use pretty much every single day.
Okay, so that's all the theory. But what does this actually look like in the real world? How can this technology actually help people? Let's zoom in on a practical example and see how AI can be a tool for a community and really help an organization do some amazing work.
So I want you to meet Good Life Holistic Wellness. They're a community development corporation based in Austin, Texas, and their whole mission is about improving lives right there in their own community. They are the perfect example of an organization where a powerful new tool like this could just completely amplify their impact.
So how exactly could a language model help an organization like this? Well, just imagine. That huge, complex grant proposal that normally takes weeks to write, they could get a solid draft in minutes. That frees up so much critical time. Okay, what about creating a whole month's worth of social media posts to get the community engaged? Done. Or how about summarizing pages and pages of community feedback to find the really important insights? And AI can do that in a flash. It can even help them brainstorm totally new ideas for programs. And here's the really crucial part. This isn't about replacing people. It's about getting all that tedious work out of the way so they can free up their time for what really matters, strategy, and actually connecting with people.
But, it's not all sunshine and efficiency. This technology comes with some very real costs, and that brings us to the risks. These are the important, sometimes tough questions that we absolutely have to be asking right now.
And one of the biggest costs is one we don't always think about, the environmental one. Get this. The amount of electricity it takes to train just one large AI model can be more than what 100 US homes use in an entire year. I mean, the servers for this stuff need a massive amount of power and cooling, and that creates a very, very real impact on the environment.
And it's not just the environmental cost. There are other serious risks we have to consider. First up, bias. The thing is, if the AI learns from the internet, well, it's also learning all of our human biases, and it can even amplify them. Then there's inaccuracy. Sometimes these models just make things up. They can state something that is completely wrong with 100% confidence. It's a problem people call hallucinations. A great example is an AI confidently citing a legal case that just flat out doesn't exist. Next, there's the risk of misuse. This is an incredibly powerful tool for creating convincing misinformation and doing it at a massive scale. And finally, privacy. What happens to all the data we're feeding into these things? We have to be really critical and ask how our information is being used and protected.
So, with all that in mind, where would we go from here? Well, that brings us to our final and honestly our most important point, using AI with intention. We have to remember, this stuff isn't magic. It's not some uncontrollable force. At the end of the day, it's a tool. And just like any powerful tool, from a hammer to the internet itself, how we choose to use it, that matters more than anything.
And this quote right here really gets to the heart of it all. We can't just blindly jump on this bandwagon. The goal has to be to use this technology with real intention, always thinking about how to reduce any potential harm. And that means all of us. We have to be active, critical users, not just passive consumers of this tech.
So, we'll leave you with this final thought. This tool is here. It's not going away, and it's getting more powerful by the day. The real question, the one we all have to answer, isn't if it's going to change our world. The question is how. What will we, you, me, all of us, what will we choose to build with it?